Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today, our info session on student success abroad. Um, we are going to go ahead and get started in a minute. We'll wait a couple more seconds for some more people to hop in from the waiting room. But my name is Zoe Crook. If you've attended our other two webinars, you've seen me already. We're going to go over some of those same couple slides at the beginning, and then my colleagues are going to get into some more frequently asked questions and key considerations for study abroad. So I will let everyone kind of introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ben. I am one of International Programs Risk and Emergency Managers.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a great day. My name is Daniel De Santiago. I am the first year programs coordinator and front desk manager here at International Programs.
Awesome. So throughout this webinar, if you haven't attended a Zoom webinar before, it's a little bit different than kind of a regular Zoom. If you have any questions throughout, we're going to save most of the questions for the end, but you can put them into the Q&A feature, and then our staff will see them. We also have Michael in the background answering some questions while we're talking. So if you have questions, just make sure to put them in that Q&A and we will be able to answer them. You have an option to put your question in anonymously if you like. So just kind of submit those throughout. We'll answer maybe a couple throughout if there's any clarifying questions, but we're going to try to hold most of the questions until the end of our session. Yeah, so we can go ahead and get started with these first couple slides. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so if you, like I said, if you had attended our last two info sessions, these slides are going to be a repeat, but just in case, we're going to go over them again. So every day is an adventure when you're abroad. When you study abroad with FSU, you'll be earning FSU credit in a new location, immersing in another culture. You're going to make lifelong friends, learn skills in cross-cultural communication, and use the city as your classroom. So when you study abroad, it's really going to be focused on small class sizes. You'll have opportunities to foster relationships with your professors. There's enhanced educational experiences, and of course, you will get to travel and see the world. And FSU is consistently ranked in the top 15 universities for study abroad, and International Programs has been providing these experiences for over 65 years. And I do see a couple questions coming in about that airfare scholarship. If you're attending, we will get a list of everyone who's here now. So we will automatically enter you in for that for being here today. So for this next slide, I just kind of want to go over some of our locations. We have a variety of locations around the globe. You can take classes you need to graduate, core FSU courses, courses for specific majors and minors at these locations. We have 4 locations that we operate year-round: London, England; Valencia, Spain; Florence, Italy, as well as a branch campus in Panama City in the Republic of Panama. And then we also have other programs in new locations around the globe. We're always trying to expand. Our study center locations are going to kind of have everything you need. They have libraries, FSU faculty and staff, and then those other locations, mostly offered over the summer, are going to offer, sometimes you'll be studying at like a partner institution or something like that. So all of those are a little bit different. And we'll get into a couple more of those on the next slide. So, like I said, those other locations not based in a study center are going to mostly be offered over the summer, some on spring break as well. And these are going to be led by FSU faculty. So they'll really allow you to dive deeper into your major or minor curriculum with excursions to immerse yourself in the local area, language, culture, all of that. And then you'll also have opportunities to take classes maybe at local universities, or doing an immersive language program, or experiencing global industries, studying a wide variety of topics. And no matter the location, these summer programs do count towards that summer residency requirement that you have to do at FSU. So just keep that in mind. It's a great way to kind of get some of those summer credits done while seeing the world. And you can see a full list of all of the programs that we'll be offering next summer on the IP website. Those applications are opening next Wednesday. So that's kind of why we're here today, to just answer any remaining questions you might have about that application process, considering, key things that we're going to go over as you choose your program. And as far as what you will gain, before I hand it over to Ben and Daniel, I want to just highlight a little bit more about the types of things that you'll gain while you're abroad. Study abroad is more than just the classes you'll take. It's really about those lifelong friendships that you'll make along the way. And even if you don't know anyone when you choose to go abroad, I guarantee that you're definitely going to make some great friends that will, you'll have these core memories with while you're abroad, and then they'll come back with you to Tallahassee and for the rest of your life. And you'll be able to experience another culture, make those core memories, expand your global perspective, and you'll be learning in an immersive environment where the city becomes your classroom. Your professors are going to take you out into the city. You'll learn through museum visits, walking tours, other class lectures while you're out and about. And then your time abroad is also going to make you stand out from the crowd. So whether that's applying for a job, going to interview for grad school, you're always going to have an interesting story to tell. I recently just read a study that students who study abroad typically enter into the job force making more money. So it kind of sets you apart in that way. Employers like to see that diverse experience. And so, yeah, before I hand it over to Ben, or now I'm going to hand it over to Ben, rather, to go over some key considerations for you as you're choosing the best program.
Thank you, Zoe. So as Zoe said, we're going to talk about some important considerations that you should be thinking about prior to departing for your program. So one of the most exciting parts of studying abroad is stepping into a new environment, new cities, new cultures, and new ways of living. But that excitement comes with change, and it's important to start thinking about how these environmental and cultural changes might affect your day-to-day experience. So firstly, I want to talk about the shared living experience abroad. You may be living with roommates from different backgrounds, cultures, or even countries. This can be one of the most rewarding parts of your time abroad, but it also requires some flexibility on your end. Consider what boundaries are important to you, such as quiet hours, shared spaces, or personal routines. Being open-minded and communicative can help you build strong relationships and potentially lifelong friendships. Next, I kind of want to talk about the weather. Climate can vary widely depending on your destination, so do your research and pack accordingly. For example, if you're traveling to New Zealand this summer, it will actually be winter there. That means cooler temperatures, shorter days, and possibly rain. If you're not used to colder weather, think about layering options, waterproof gear, and shoes that can handle wet conditions. Rainier climates can bring frequent drizzle or overcast skies, and if you're someone who's affected by gloomy weather, consider how that might impact your mood or energy. Mental preparation is key, so think about ways to stay positive and engaged, like building a routine, staying active, or finding cozy indoor activities that bring you joy. In contrast, some regions, especially in Europe, have experienced extreme heat waves over the past few summers. And many places abroad, especially in Europe, have limited or no air conditioning. So if you're sensitive to heat, it's important to kind of plan ahead. Consider packing breathable clothing and large water bottles to stay hydrated. Another environmental change that could impact the beginning of your program are elevation changes. And these may also be a factor depending on your program location. Higher altitudes can affect energy levels and breathing, especially during the first few days. So think about how your body might respond and give yourself some time and grace as you adjust. The final thing I want to talk about is language barriers. And even in countries where English is spoken, you may encounter different accents, slang, or cultural expressions. So consider how you plan to communicate, whether you maybe plan to use a translation app, learn some key phrases, or even take a short language course before you go. Thinking ahead about communication can help you feel more confident and connected while abroad. Studying abroad isn't just about where you go, it's also about how you live while you're there. Your personal needs, habits, and health all play a role in shaping your experience. And this slide is kind of designed to help you reflect on how your lifestyle and physical well-being align with the realities of your program. So I think it's important to start by considering mobility and physical demands. Many international cities are walking cities, which means you're likely to be on your feet more than you're used to. Public transportation is common, but walking is often the primary way to get around. Think about the types of surfaces you'll encounter: cobblestone streets, narrow sidewalks, and uneven terrain. These are all common in many historical cities, and while they can be charming, they also present challenges for anyone who has mobility concerns. Also, accessibility of public transportation can vary widely. So think about how comfortable you are navigating stairs, platforms, and crowded transit systems. Our classes often use the city as their classroom. So whether you're heading to a local churreria to order churros and chocolate for your Spanish class or exploring ancient Roman ruins for archaeology, walking is a major part of the experience. So ask yourself, are you comfortable walking long distances or navigating these kinds of environments regularly? Additionally, elevators may be limited or non-existent in some housing or public buildings. And if you have mobility concerns or injuries, this is something to plan for early. Additionally, excursions and activities like hiking, biking, or cultural tours can be physically demanding. These are often the highlights of the program, so it's worth researching what excursions are included in the program you're interested in. Consider whether those activities are feasible for you and what you might need to do to participate comfortably. Dietary changes are another important factor to consider. You may encounter unfamiliar foods, different meal schedules, or limited access to your usual diet. So, for example, paella is a popular dish in Spain, but it often contains shellfish, which is something to be aware of if you have allergies. Or in Tuscany, pasta is a staple, which could be challenging if you're gluten-free. So it's important to think about how you plan to navigate meals abroad. Will you cook for yourself? Will you need to communicate dietary needs in another language? Planning ahead can help you enjoy the local cuisine safely and confidently. Additionally, medical needs abroad require careful planning. If you take prescription medication, make sure you bring enough for the entire duration of your program. And if you're unable to obtain enough medication for the duration of your program and need a refill while abroad, please reach out to IP as early as possible. We can assist in identifying local providers and determining whether your medication is available in your host country. The earlier we know, the more options we can explore to support you. On top of that, if you're undergoing treatment, whether that's therapy, physical therapy, or any form of healthcare, you should contact IP so we can discuss how to continue care while abroad and explore what resources may be available to you in your host location. The goal here isn't to discourage you, it's to help you feel empowered and prepared. By thinking through these personal considerations now, you'll set yourself up for a smoother, more enjoyable experience abroad. So here I just wanted to highlight where on our website you can do your research and find more details about each program's activity level and physical demands in terms of what the excursions require. So you can do this by going to the International Programs website, going to the Programs tab at the top, and then scroll down in the drop down until you find the program that you are interested in going on, and scroll down to the excursions and group activity section as outlined in this slide. So you can see here that if you're going to New Zealand, for example, we've outlined that you'll be going to nearby islands via boat, going on guided nature and geothermic walks. And this is just to give you kind of an idea of, what are the physical demands of the excursions that you're going to be going on. Additionally, on every single program page, we also have an important consideration section, which kind of speaks more in depth regarding what I just talked about on the last slide. And there's also a PDF that can answer some questions you may have. And of course, if you do have any questions that are not answered on the website, feel free to reach out to us here at International Programs. Next slide, please. Thank you. So now we're going to talk a little bit about accommodations abroad. Here at International Programs, our top priority is to support a safe, inclusive, and positive experience for all students. We understand that every student has unique needs, and we're here to help you navigate those before your program begins. If you have academic or housing accommodations, we strongly encourage you to disclose them early. This allows our team to work with you proactively and explore what's possible in your host location. I want to take note and I want to emphasize that any requested accommodations will not be factored into your admissions decision. They are entirely independent of each other. And I just want to provide you guys with some examples of what some of these accommodations may look like. So some requested academic accommodations might include things like extended time for exams, access to assistive technology or note-taking support. And an example of a housing accommodation could include having a housing or room assignment on a lower level if you have concerns about navigating stairs. The key is to think ahead and communicate early. The sooner we know what you need, the more time we have to work with our partners abroad to support you. Our goal is to help you feel confident and prepared so you can focus on enjoying your experience and making the most of your time abroad. To ensure that accommodations are handled appropriately and consistently, all requests must be processed through FSU's Office of Accessibility Services, or OAS. This is an important step because it allows OAS to evaluate your needs and make formal recommendations that we can then work to implement within your study abroad program. It's also important to understand that recommended accommodations are not guaranteed. Each program location has different resources and limitations, so feasibility can vary. Timeliness, however, plays a big role in feasibility. The earlier you reach out to OAS, the more reasonable and feasible it is for us to support your needs abroad. Late requests may limit if we're able to make any arrangements. If you do require an accommodation, do not wait to reach out to OAS, and please do it as soon as possible. You can contact them through their website or by email or via phone. And if you have any questions regarding the OAS application process and whatever documentation they do require, if you scan that QR code, it will take you to a PDF which outlines the process and what their documentation requires. IP and OAS also work closely together to support you, but it starts with you taking that first initial step. We're here to help guide you through the process and make you feel supported every step of the way. As you start thinking about studying abroad, take the time to reflect on your own experiences, preferences, and needs. What kind of environment helps you thrive? What challenges have you faced before, and how did you overcome them then? Choosing the right program isn't just about location. It's about finding a fit that supports your academic goals, personal well-being, and overall experience. Research is key. Look into the program details, excursions, housing, and local culture. The more you know ahead of time, the better prepared you'll be to adapt and succeed. Now, preparation doesn't mean having everything figured out. It just means being thoughtful, curious, and open to learning. And of course, remember, IP is always here to help. Whether you have questions about accommodations, health and safety, or just want to talk through your options, we're your partner in this journey. Studying abroad is a transformative experience. With the right preparation and support, you'll be ready to make the most of it, and we can't wait to help get you there. And now I'm going to pass it over to Daniel, who's going to talk about next steps regarding admissions.
Thank you, Ben. And if you have any further questions about accommodations and any of the information that Ben just said, please feel free to put those questions in the Q&A feature. But this part of the presentation and webinar, we're going to talk about next steps, the application process, and some tips that International Programs has for you as you prepare for next week to go on our website and apply for your program of choice for summer 2026. Or if you're wanting to study abroad at a later time, this is still going to be valuable information for you to know. So first thing we want to tell you about is, what does this application process look like? So first off, we want you to research the study abroad program or programs that interest you. This is very important because you want to go into the application open window time already knowing where you want to go, feel confident that that's the program you want to go. Those are the courses that you want to take, that you have done all the discussions that you need to. So that's going to be step one. The next step is going to be applying. Next week, October 8th at 9 a.m. is when you can begin applying for summer 2026 programs. That's 9 a.m. is when they open. Of course, we will need to open these applications manually. So have patience with us as we open up our programs at 9 a.m. And just know that with your application, there will also be a non-refundable $100 application fee for all summer 2026 study abroad programs. Next in the process is going to be waiting. Unfortunately, there is going to be a 4 to 6 week application processing time. We're going to try our best to get decisions out to students as soon as we can. Historically, we have seen this processing time take about 4 to 6 weeks. So just make sure that you're staying patient, and that, let's go into the next step, that you're monitoring your FSU or personal email for an admitted or waitlisted decision. So we are going to contact you through the emails both the primary and secondary emails that you provide in your application. So make sure that you are putting the correct email in. So that means you're getting these decisions, whatever they may be, and make sure you're monitoring your emails to see if anything has updated. And then the last thing to do is once you have done your research, you've applied, you've waited, and then you get, let's say, a decision that you're admitted into the program, or let's say you're waitlisted and then you've finally been admitted to your program, the next step will be to commit to your program. So if you are applying for a study abroad program for summer 2026 or any study abroad program, then your commitment fee will be a $1,500 commitment fee. And if you're deciding to do an internship abroad where those application fees for internships abroad are $250 and your commitment fee will be $2,500. So just make sure to keep in mind these steps as you go through this process. Feel free to take a picture of the screen, or we'll have a recording of this webinar and we'll share at a later time and you can access this information later. But this is essentially how looking out this process is going to look like, especially for our students who are applying next week, October 8th at 9 a.m. for summer 2026 programs. So we got a lot of questions in the Q&A just now. We've been getting a lot of questions on what's in this application. Do I need to write an essay? Should I be talking to references or look for letters or recommendations, and so on and so forth? Our application is a quick 5 to 8 minute application where you do not need items like an essay question, a resume, letters of recommendation, or anything of those sorts. So as you can see on the screen, the main information that you will need is your contact information, the contact information for your emergency contacts. The program of interest, will want to know what that is. You will essentially know what program you're interested in based off the application you click on that you want to apply to on our website. There are going to be some academic and student conduct and legal history questions. Those are going to be some yes or no questions. So make sure that you are up to date on that information. We're going to ask you for your FSU GPA, as well as the number of college credit hours that you have earned. So again, make sure you are collecting that information. We're going to ask for a permanent address, and then we're going to ask for a current physical address, or your address while at school, for any materials that we need to send you. That's why we need that information. There are some other items on here that you'll need to know, but the majority of the items that you'll want to kind of prepare in advance are going to be these items listed right here. Again, feel free to take a picture. And again, this is a quick 5 to 8 minute application. So when applications open next week at 9 a.m., you should be able to fill out this application with this information. And then once the application has been submitted, then you will also follow up with a $100 application fee to kind of finalize your application and officially send it to international programs. So just to keep in mind some requirements, like I said earlier, you will need to provide your FSU GPA as well as the credit hours you have currently taken while at your college or university or here at FSU. So the minimum GPA requirement for students who are wanting to study abroad is a 2.5 FSU GPA. And for students who are interested in doing an internship abroad, that criteria is a 3.0 FSU GPA requirement. Now, this is the baseline criteria for all study abroad and internship abroad programs, but just note that there may be some other eligibility requirements in certain programs. So just make sure that when you go onto our website, international.fsu.edu, look up the program that you're interested in. Make sure you click on that description tab and scroll down past the table of information and to the section that says eligibility. There's going to be information on there that lets you know whether is the minimum eligibility just that you meet these GPA requirements and that you're an active student at a college or university, or are there other requirements that you need to be aware of, as if like taking courses or being proficient in a language, whatever it may be. So make sure to check our website. We'll have that information for you, and make sure you're doing that in advance. So that's kind of the breakdown of this application process and the application itself. Now, International Programs wants to share 5 tips for a successful study abroad application. So just going right into it, tip one is going to go to that first part of the application process that we talked about earlier, which is do your research now. A lot of times we have our students do their research on the day the application's open, and then they're struggling to gather all their information, or they're submitting an application without knowing what they even applied for. We want to avoid this, especially when knowing that you're paying a non-refundable $100 application fee. Last thing we want you to do is to pay another application fee for the right application. So make sure you're doing your research now. So things to explore. Explore the IP website. International.fsu.edu is going to be the website where you can find all the information on the different programs we're going to offer in summer 2026, and also the different programs that we offer in fall, spring, and spring break if you're interested in studying abroad at a later time. Definitely recommend checking out our social media with the handle at FSUIP. We have a lot of great resources on there on either tips for studying, pictures and videos of students who have or are currently studying abroad, and different takeovers that we do that provide great information about a location that you may be interested in or program you're interested in. Our YouTube channel acts in the same way, providing other great information, resources for you to be able to learn more about our study abroad programs and maybe a program that you're interested in. And again, we want you to explore any additional information regarding your location of interest. So make sure that you're just doing some personal research on the country, the city that you're interested in going to. Look up what the culture's like, what the city's like, look up what the cuisine's like, language barriers, different things like that. Make sure you're just as prepared as possible to click an application and submit it. And then also, we want you to make sure you're talking to the right people. So make sure that you talk to your academic advisor, so your degree academic advisor for the college that you're in, and let them know you're studying abroad. Have a conversation with them, making sure that you're taking the right courses you need to do, or making sure that you're not getting set behind or nothing is happening by you going to study abroad. So just have those open conversations. Make sure you talk to a financial aid advisor, whether that is with FSU Financial Aid or International Programs Financial Aid, about the aspect of studying abroad. Explore our program fees, explore our financial aid resources, have these conversations in advance. And make sure you talk to your family members. A lot of times our students apply, and then we get calls from family members at a later time asking what their student applied for. So let's try to avoid that. Let's have open communication with your family members about this opportunity, and it will lead to a successful application and study abroad process. And then make sure you talk to your friends. You may want to study abroad with people you know. You may want to study abroad by yourself and meet people when you go study abroad. Both of those are great. Just make sure if you are wanting to study abroad with people who you know here at the main campus, or that you want to go on a program with, that you both are on the same page. So just keeping open communication as you are doing your research on what is the right study abroad program for you, whether it's summer 2026, fall 2026, spring 2027, whatever it may be. The next thing tip number 2 is apply early. So our applications will open on Wednesday, October 8th at 9 a.m. as we have said, and they will stay open until the application until the program fills up, or until we get close enough to the program where we can't accept any other students. So of course you can apply any time in between, but if you know you want to study abroad, if you want to give yourself the best chance to get into the program that you're interested in, we say apply early. Now, unfortunately, there's no early application that you can do before October 8th. When we say apply early, we just mean when they open at 9 a.m., that is the earliest that you can apply on October 8th. So go ahead and submit that application. Like I said earlier, we will open applications manually. So again, have some patience with us. If at 9 a.m. it's not opening, just quickly refresh your page. Also know that summer is a very popular time for students to study abroad. So our website may be going a little bit slower than usual. So have some patience as you refresh your page, and as your application starts to open up, and as you get ready to submit that information and the $100 application fee. And then also knowing an application is not a commitment. So we say apply early, and knowing that you will apply, and then if admitted, you will have a spot on that program, and then you will commit for that program at a later date, like we were talking about earlier. So again, there's only positives when you apply early, no negatives. And then as well as some kind of additional tips when it comes to applying early, make sure that you're in a place with good Wi-Fi. So that means you're not having that stress of worrying that your Wi-Fi is going to drop when applications open. And then also, if you already know what program you want to go to, you have your number one program that you know this is the one I'm applying to, just go ahead. Why don't you just bookmark that page? So that means when it comes to the application date, you're not scrambling to find our website or find that page. You just click on that bookmark that you already have set aside. So those are kind of just application apply early tips on top of tip number 2, which is to apply early. Check your emails. So like we were saying earlier, in part of the application process, once a decision has been made and we will communicate that decision to you, we will send it to the 2 emails that you provide in your application, whether that is your FSU email or a other personal email that you will have and you've listed for your primary and your secondary emails. So make sure you're staying on top of that. So that means when that email comes in, you are already ready to accept that offer, and then you can go ahead and you could commit for that program either then, or you could wait until the commitment fee deadline. But again, make sure to just monitor those emails. And like we said earlier, there will be about a 4 to 6 week processing time. So if you want to wait until around that time to check your emails, or you're probably already constantly checking your emails, so just keep an eye out to see if you get something from international programs regarding your application. Tip number 4, create a backup plan. Now, we know that summer is a very competitive time for students to study abroad just because of the pure popularity. Applications are admitted on a first come, first served basis. So right when applications open up at 9 a.m., all students will have an equal opportunity to submit an application and their application fee. And then the time that application fee is submitted, that is the time that you are locked in regards to the list that we will get on how we determine when a student is going to get admitted. Now, for a lot of our popular programs, we may have students all applying at 9 a.m. and we may get hundreds of applications within the first 30 minutes. Some programs, we may not get many applications until a few weeks into the applications being open. Whatever the scenario may be, whenever you apply, there is a chance that you may be waitlisted. If you're waitlisted for your applied program, you will be given the option to transfer your application to an available study abroad program. So that's why our 4th tip will be to have a backup plan in case you do get waitlisted for that number 1 program. And if it is your dream or your goal to study abroad for summer 2026, then we recommend having a secondary study abroad program ready that you have already done your research for and that you're also interested in. Because when we reach out to you and let you know you're waitlisted and let you know, do you want to transfer your application to an available study abroad program, then you'll already have been ready with that backup option. So this is not to alarm anybody that you're going to get waitlisted no matter what. Every student has an equal opportunity to get admitted directly into the program, but we just want you guys to keep an open mind and the possibility of being waitlisted, and just know that there are so many different programs that we have to offer, from our study centers to our curriculum focused programs at our different locations. So just do a little bit more research. If you only looked at one location and one program, why don't you just go real quick, see if there's another program that maybe has the courses you're interested in, maybe in a country that speaks that same language that you're wanting to dive deeper in, or has excursions that you didn't even think of looking into, and you realize that's another great option in addition to that primary option that you had for a study abroad program. So just keep thinking about where or when else you could study abroad. And our last tip will be to trust the process. Just trust that when you go to apply on October 8th at 9 a.m. and submit that application, wait 4 to 6 weeks for your decision to come out. And when you get your decision, that international programs will walk you through the process, that we have been doing this for over 65 years, and that we will support you and we will guide you through the process, from the application process to being admitted, to being waitlisted, to changing programs, to then getting admitted and doing the pre-departure process, to going over and having a fantastic formative experiential learning experience at your study abroad program. So just trust the process, be patient. If you do have any questions, or if you have any issues with the application process, whatever it may be, feel free to email us at ip-info@fsu.edu. This is the best way for you to contact us, because not only are you able to let us know what's going on, but you're able to give us your name, you're able to give us your student ID and template, and you're also able to send this email and it will come to us with a timestamp on it. So we'll know when you have sent us this email, so we can kind of keep an eye on, okay, when did we get this inquiry from the student? All right, how does that factor into when they applied? Or maybe we keep getting the same email about our website being down or going too slow, and we can fix that as early as we can and get that resolved. So just trust the process, trust international programs through this process, and do not hesitate to send us an email if you have any questions or concerns. Again, you can email ip-info@fsu.edu. And one of the last things that we wanted to leave you with is some answers to these common questions that we get. These, funny enough, maybe some questions that you asked in the beginning of this webinar and that we're getting to now. And funny enough, you just happen to know the common questions we normally get. So we're going to go ahead and just answer these one at a time. So one question we get are, how many applications should I submit? This is a great question that we get. So being mindful that each application a student submits, there is also a non-refundable $100 application fee. So we encourage all students to submit only a single application for the program that they are most interested in. Generally, students should only submit more than one application if they want to participate in more than one program, and if those dates do not overlap. So if you're already going in knowing that you want to apply for 2 programs that are at 2 different dates for the one summer, go ahead, submit those 2 applications. Now, if you are a student and if you are wanting to apply for more than one program and the dates overlap, then just be in mind that you can only be admitted to one program at a time. And again, being mindful that with each application you do, and if those dates overlap, you are submitting an extra $100 application fee. So again, like I said, we encourage students to submit only one application if they are intending on going on one program. We do not want you to panic and submit multiple applications. That may slow down the processing time. You are then paying more $100 application fees. So we want to avoid that for y'all. So just again, trust the process, knowing that submitting that one application early, doing your research early, can be very beneficial in regards to this application process. How many students are admitted? That number changes during summer. As you have probably seen on our website, we have many different programs going on, programs going for a whole summer to a 6-week summer to maybe a 4-week summer. So the number of students we can take for these different programs can vary. We could take number of students to one program as little as 20, and some programs we could take as many as over 100 to 200 students, depending on, again, what the program is. So that is going to vary based off the program. What happens if you get waitlisted? Like we talked about earlier, if you get waitlisted, we will provide you with the opportunity to transfer your application fee to another application that is open and available. But also, do not be alarmed if you get waitlisted. Here at International Programs, we do pull a lot of people off the wait list just because throughout the process, many students decide that they don't want to study abroad anymore, can't study abroad anymore, or don't end up paying the commitment fee by the due date. And when those cancellations start coming in and start happening, then that's when we'll start pulling from the wait list. So if you do get wait listed, know that we'll provide you with all the information you'll need to know in regards to where you're on the wait list, what's your percentage of getting off the wait list, and what are our recommendations for you, whether we recommend recommend for you to, wait it out, whether we recommend for you whether we recommend for you to switch to a different program and consider another option. We'll provide you with that information. How quickly do programs fill up? Well, that will kind of go to that next question: what programs are most competitive? In regards to the time that a program fills up will generally be determined on how popular a program is. So a lot of the time, our study center programs can fill up quickly, as well as our study center programs during the first half of the summer tend to fill up quickly. So that kind of also leads to those tend to be historically our most competitive programs. So our study center programs during the first half of the summer. So if you're somebody who knows that, okay, I just want to study abroad in Valencia at any point in the summer, then maybe considering either a full summer or a second half of the summer application may give you a better opportunity to get admitted directly into the program rather than being waitlisted. When we look at other programs what programs are most competitive and other types of programs, knowing that it is also hard for us to determine that with our new programs that we offer. Every year for our curriculum focused programs, we are promoting and we are putting together new programs that we don't know how popular and how competitive they are going to be in regards to the application process. For example, we have a Empires and Vampires program in Romania that we are debuting this summer. We do not know how competitive that's going to be. It could have few applications, or it could have so many applications, more applications than we have space. So just also keeping that in mind, that some of those newer programs may be competitive, may not be. So just kind of knowing that when you're trying to order what program you want to prioritize in regards to doing an application for. So those are kind of the main questions that we get. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pass it back over to Zoe to kind of let you know on how to get in touch with other resources that we have.
Thanks, Daniel. I know we have a lot of questions coming in, so before we get into those, I just want to highlight that, excuse me, the first QR code on this page is kind of a recap of what Daniel just said. So if you're like, I need to see that again, that's a YouTube playlist that has some more helpful information. We will also email all of you with the recording for this info session. The second QR code is going to be the social media links, other resources, and then that ip-info@fsu.edu email is listed at the bottom if you have additional questions. So let's get into some of the questions that have been submitted here. I don't know, Daniel, it might be helpful. We've had quite a few questions of kind of where on the web page the application is going to be. I don't know if you could share your screen maybe for that.
Yeah,
But we
go
can
ahead
show
and
you kind of where that is.
let me stop sharing real quick.
But in the meantime, what kind of students is IP looking for? We want all students. Like Daniel said, it's first come, first serve. So that's going to be just anyone that can apply and is eligible. We welcome all students.
All righty, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep, got it.
Amazing. So students, this is our website. Hopefully you have interacted with our website at some point. If not, this is the great opportunity to do that with applications opening next Wednesday. So this is our website, international.fsu.edu. If you were to go to our website, and then if you're going to hover over the programs tab at the top, you'll see that we'll break down all of our programs based off the different terms, as well as our internship programs. For those folks who are interested in summer 2026, if you're able to hover over summer 2026, you'll then be able to see all the programs we have to offer for summer 2026. And then let's go and let's pick a program. We were talking about Empires and Vampires in Romania, so let's use that as an example. If you were to click on the program page, any program page, they'll be structured in the same way, where you see the program title, some information about it, and these different tabs that will give you additional information. If you just scroll down under program sessions, you'll see all the information you need to know about the program: the code, the term, arrival date, departure date, the fee, and then you'll see an area that says apply. Right now it says applications open October 8th, 2025 at 9 a.m. on October 8th at 9 a.m., this is going to disappear and it's going to turn into a garnet pencil. And that's where you're going to access the application. So you'll click on that pencil, open the application. You'll sign in using your FSU ID information, just like how you sign into your My FSU portal. And then that's how you will start. Your application. If you're watching and you're a non-FSU student, when you open up that application, there'll be a section for you with instructions on how to create a temporary FSU ID, and you'll start your process from there. But all of it will start on our website, on the program page, right where it says apply, by clicking on a garnet pencil.
Awesome. And then also I just want to highlight at the top of this page here, if you scroll up a little bit, Daniel, there is an apply button there. If you click that, it's just going to pull you down further on the page to that same area. So you'll still have to click that second pencil. So you really just want to go to this table, click on that pencil icon on that day, and it'll open up. I did see a question also. Are all summer applications going to open up on October 8th at 9 a.m.? Yes. However, I do want to just reiterate that we will be opening those manually. So we have to go into every page, every program, and just click open, so it might take a minute or two for some programs to open. So if you don't see it immediately, just keep refreshing that page. Like Daniel said, have it bookmarked, have it open, keep refreshing it. That's going to help you with that. And then I saw a few questions, Daniel, that you might want to answer, kind of about FSU GPA, like what counts as that? What if we're a transfer student from TSC? How many college credits do we list? That sort of thing.
So when it comes to your FSU GPA and the college credits that you have, even when you talk about transfer credits, you are just going to list exactly what is either when you pull your transcripts, when you go on your university's homepage for FSU, your My FSU homepage, whatever is listed there, that is what you're going to submit. We are going to still double check this information by pulling either your FSU information from the registrar's office, or if you're a non-FSU student, we will compare this information when you send us an official transcript. But you are just making sure, again, that you're meeting that minimum GPA requirement of a 2.5 GPA for a study abroad program, or a 3.0 GPA for an internship program.
Awesome. And then I've seen a couple questions come through. I've answered a few of them about taking online classes through FSU while you're abroad. We don't necessarily recommend this because you're going to be traveling a lot. You'll have you don't know your class schedule yet while you're abroad. And then if you're taking an online class and there's like a required synchronous meeting time, you have to keep in mind time zones. We wouldn't want you to miss something related to that. So we would just recommend instead, if you can, maybe take a class like the first part of the summer in Tallahassee, and then the second half of the summer you go abroad, or vice versa. And that will still all count towards that summer residency requirement. I also have seen a few questions again about like applying to multiple programs. Just to reiterate what Daniel said earlier, we don't recommend applying to any programs that kind of as a backup. We just want you to apply to the one that you're really interested in. In the application, there's not any area where you can kind of like list a backup. So you would just kind of wait and see if you get on that wait list or not. And then from there, once you know you're on the wait list, you're going to immediately know all the options available to you. Staying on the wait list, moving to another program, all that kind of thing. But just to reiterate, we recommend just applying for that one program that you really want to go on. Looking through some more questions here. Questions are kind of about how many students are accepted to Valencia or Florence. I don't know if we have specific numbers on that, Daniel.
We don't have specific numbers on that because that's just going to fluctuate based off also all the other programs that are happening at our locations. Just students to note that, as you probably have seen on our website, there are many different programs that are happening in one location, and those numbers are constantly changing. So we'll definitely be able to determine a final number as we get the applications on October 8th and when they open. But right now we don't have a set number that we can share at the moment.
I'm seeing a question here if there's like a short answer essay portion to the application. There is not. I am seeing a lot of questions. It looks like we have some high schoolers who snuck into this session and are interested in our first year abroad program. I'm not going to answer many of those questions live, but just really quick, the application is on a different timeline. So this summer application that we're talking about is not for first year students. If you do have questions about those first year programs, please email Daniel. He's also in charge of that. At ip-firstyear@fsu.edu, and you can even set up a one-on-one appointment with Daniel or another member of our team to kind of go over that. Looking through some more questions. You can do, I guess, internship questions. I would recommend maybe setting up a appointment with our internship or academic advisor who could talk you through that. It just kind of depends when you want to do that, like what time is good for you, based on your credits. We do have a couple programs where you can kind of take some classes while you're also doing a part-time internship. And let's see. So we talked about some of these questions. I see, again, the exact link that it will open on. We just recommend going on our website now and kind of bookmarking that. And all those questions that Daniel mentioned in the application are what it's going to sort of look like. The airfare winner scholarship is going to be announced on next week, so it will be after those applications open. Oh, here's a great question. When will we submit the $100 application fee? Daniel, I don't know if you want to take that one.
Yes, you will submit that right after you submit your application. Two things will happen. One, when you submit your application, there'll be a link right there to take you over to that to the site that you'll pay that $100 application fee. Two, also we'll follow up with an email reminding you to pay that $100 application fee if we see that you've submitted an application but no $100 application fee, as well as in addition, as another option, you can go onto your My FSU portal and you could submit the application fee and make a payment there. It's going to show up on your charge, similar to all other charges. So there are going to be many ways for you to access that link to go and submit that $100 application fee.
Awesome. Another question is, do we need to have our transcript available to upload? You do not need that. If you're already an FSU student, we will get that information and verify your information with your FSU ID. If you are at another institution, not FSU, we will require that later on. There's some questions about classes. When do we pick classes? Do you pick classes during the application? Can you talk about that a little bit, Daniel?
Yes, so you will not pick classes until a later date. Classes probably won't start to become available for registration until around March or early April time, probably around mid-March is when we'll do that. Still, make sure that you are going onto our website and reviewing the courses that we offer. It doesn't mean you're going to be selecting those courses then and there when you apply, but this is just good information for you to know that. So that means you know you're applying to the right program with the right courses that you are wanting to take. So just to reiterate, you're not selecting your courses when you apply. That will happen in the spring semester, closer to the start of your summer program, but make sure you're still reviewing the course information so you're selecting the right study abroad program.
Awesome. And then, yes, also I see a question here about courses listed on the website. So if you're on a summer program page on our website, looking at the courses tab, that's going to be the courses that are offered. So that's a very important part of kind of going through our website and picking a program that's great for you. Here's a question, Daniel. Can we apply if we have any holds on our account?
Yes, you can still apply if you have holds on your account. That won't have any effect with your holds, as well as it won't have any effects when you try to go pay the $100 application fee. Now, the holds will affect, if they continue all the way into the spring semester, will affect you from registering for your courses, but won't hinder your application process.
And then a question here about, is our spot saved before or after we pay? Does the application still go through as first come, first served before the $100 application fee?
Great question.
Yeah, great question for Daniel.
Yeah, great question. So your application is going to be submitted and it's going to be timestamped when you submit that application. Then it's going to be presented to us to be able to review it after you pay. But all to say, you will have about 3 to 4 days to pay your application fee before it disappears, and then you have to submit a new application and you will be given a new timestamp. So all to say, if you submit your application and let's say you're having issues paying your application fee, do not worry, your application is submitted with the time that you submitted your application. So do not panic if you're still trying to figure out the payment portion of it. You'll still have some time to do that. Just make sure that you do it within that 3 to 4 day window, or else you will have to submit a new application and you'll be given a new timestamp, which will then mean you'll have a new spot in the admissions process.
Great, and I know we only have a few minutes left here, so we're trying to get through as many questions as we can. But again, if you have further questions that we don't get to today, you can email us at ip-info@fsu.edu. Is the GPA FSU GPA only or cumulative from your past institution?
It's going to be just your FSU GPA.
Okay. And then let's see here. We have a few questions about scholarships. I would definitely recommend going on our YouTube and checking out the financial aid info session we did recently. There is scholarship information on our website. You can apply to those through our website as well, but that's going to come a little bit later. If the program fills up, is the $100 application fee returned? If you choose to sort of cancel from the program and not wait it out, it will not be returned. If you just don't get off the wait list ever, you would be able to get that back, I believe. And then, yes, the format of the application, basically just gonna go on there. It's not gonna be too tricky. It's only gonna take 5 to 10 minutes. There's not a whole lot of information. Again, we'll send out a recording of this, so I would definitely recommend rewatching Daniel's section of this info session again if you want more details on that. I'm seeing a lot of financial aid questions. You can email us at ip-financialaid@fsu.edu if you want to set up an appointment for that. And then of course, I'm seeing also some first year abroad questions. So definitely reach out to us at that ip-firstyear@fsu.edu email.
And I'm also seeing some questions. If you are a freshman right now, so you're an undergraduate student right now, for your GPA, since you don't have one yet, you can just list 0. Our admissions team will go into your application, and we'll also go and check the information with the registrar's office on what your GPA will be once you have completed your semester, and we'll review the other areas of your application. So you can still select 0 for that. If you're a non-FSU student who is a first year student right now and wanting to apply for a program, again, we will ask for your transcripts to just make sure that you are currently an active student in progress with your courses at the moment.
Yeah, and I am seeing a couple anxious questions here about if our site crashes. You might have heard that we had that happen last year. We're doing everything we can to prevent that from happening. We're sort of upping our server capacity for the increased anticipated traffic to our website. But if that does happen, just keep refreshing the page. We will be aware if that happens. But we're really hoping that this year that won't happen. We're trying to take a lot of pre measures to make sure that that's not going to happen. See here. I'm seeing a lot of questions that we've maybe touched on already. Again, if you have really specific questions or questions about financial aid or first year abroad or something more specific to your academics, please just shoot us an email. If you only remember one email, I know we've kind of tossed a lot out there. It's that ip-info@fsu.edu, and that's gonna help you. We can always get you in touch with other people in our office through that email address. And as far as the GPA, I'm still seeing a lot of questions about GPA. We will verify absolutely everything you put into your application. So you don't need to worry too much. Some people will put 0 as their GPA if they're a freshman, they don't have anything. That's fine. We're not gonna just see a 0 and dismiss you because you don't meet that 2.5 GPA requirement. We're always going to verify that information. So yeah, don't worry too much about that. All right, yes, I am seeing a question that is this going to be recorded and available anywhere? We will email you with a link later today or tomorrow with this recording, and it will also just be available on our YouTube in the coming days. So we're going to have to wrap up now. We don't have time for any more questions, but thank you so much for attending, and we will get in touch with you. If you email us, we'll respond as quickly as we can. You can always send us a DM on social media at FSUIP. So there's lots of ways to get in touch with us. So just keep up to date, and we will hope to see you all abroad very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.